Mignon likes to watch, always likes to watch me cook. Sometimes her sister Luna does, but, what baby? I know, it's almost cooking time, yeah. What's today? Today is Boeuf Bourguignon Day. And I thought I had a video of this. I really thought I had a video made on YouTube or Instagram, something like that. And I think what I've got are little snippets here and there of stuff showing that I'm doing it, or a short reel, but not the normal videos that I like to post on YouTube. So just to kind of give you the history of Boeuf Bourguignon, for me, I grew up in New Orleans. I mean, I grew up in a good family who cooked all the time. My Gigi, my mom, always cooked. But I never had Boeuf Bourguignon. I never had coq au vin. It wasn't something that I ever had until I was much, much older in life. So it wasn't until about maybe 20 plus years ago when I first came to Houston in 04. So it's been a little while, almost 20 years, where I really first started getting exposed to it. So, but I love to make it. I mean, once you start making certain dishes, it's always that. So we're doing Boeuf Bourguignon today. Really great thing to do. There are a couple approaches to it. I mean, you can do a long cook, you can do a slow cook. Depends who you listen to. A lot of famous chefs out there, a lot of good chefs out there show the recipes for it, but there is one constant. It's basically beef braised in wine, red wine, a Burgundy wine. It's a Burgundian dish. From that approach, you don't spend a lot of money on the wine. You want to be able to drink it if you can, but as far as cooking with it, try some different options out there. All right, so what are we going to do? Let's talk about the setup. So I'm very happy that I got this puppy back right here from East Coast Tinning from Mr. Jim. He did a good job on it. I was excited to use this today. The problem is the dish has to go in the oven, and I have a big oven with a very large handle, so it's not going to fit. And you can't do it on the stovetop, unfortunately. So you're kind of left with that. I got to preheat the oven to 425. So we're not using this today. My excitement, we'll have to do this for another dish. We're going to use the Le Cuisette pan. All right, so basics. Let's talk about the basics. Yep. This is a 5-pound chuck roast. You generally want to feed 6 to 8 people this dish. So half a pound to a pound per person, generally speaking. And of course, as always, I love thanking my family members. Come here. Degree Woodworks in Mobile. They do furniture and cutting boards. I love the cutting boards. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Margaret. Thanks, Glenn. All right. So with the chuck roast, as you can see right down the middle, they've got some fat veins that run through here. And what you don't want to do is when you cut this up, if you cross them, the meat's going to break open. You know, it's still going to happen, but it's nice to try to get as much off of that as you can. Unfortunately, this one's a little bit different. So we're gonna have to fight it and see what happens. But what we want to do is we're going to make some big chunks out of it. Let's just see what we got here. So generally, you could kind of like, you know, cut through this one right here. But see, it just, let me see. Because these shrink down a little bit. They're going to shrink down in the browning. See, that's a lot of fat on that one. It's all right. Some people be like, oh, those are too big. Well, I tell you what, these are going to break anyway. Along some of these, like right here, it'll break open and separate anyway. So I don't mind as much. It's better to be a little too big than too small on the meats because they're going to be in the oven. Basic ingredients for this. Chuck roast, 3 to 5 pounds. Yep. Onions, basic. Carrots, we're going to chop them up in a second. Salt, pepper, garlic. That's for the main part of the meal, the dish. Red wine, bottle of red wine. Burgundian, you can use Bordeaux if you want, but Burgundian is the old recipe and the standard recipe, but some people use Bordeaux. Beef stock or veal stock. I have veal stock, I also have beef stock. What you want to do is heat these up prior. If you put them in cold, You delay some of the time, some of the stuff locks up. So what I've already done is I'm gonna show you. So this is veal stock. I put a couple of these. This is kind of the one that I get. It doesn't have to be this one, but it's the only one available out of any of the grocery stores I go to here in Houston. So just veal stock. I put 2 in here. You can see the color. It's really nice and dark. And I've cooked it down by, I took about 1/3 off because I don't need all of it, but I do want to concentrate it. We're going to turn it off now. And what do we need to do? We need to heat up and bring to a boil some wine. So, got some good cooking wine today for my wine people. Yummy. Thank you, Earl. Appreciate it. Nice. Whole bottle. Now, you could put it directly into the sauce if you want to, but I want to burn some of the alcohol off of here. And I don't want it cold going into the Boeuf Bourguignon. I want it to be warm going in. So, wine. Tastes okay. What else? Mushrooms. Whole mushrooms. Yep. Onions. And I'm going to show you 2 different types of onions. Historically speaking, just get these onions, white pearl onions, frozen. Because otherwise, you have to do like this and use these onions, cut them down, and there's a different process. The bacon is used for the bacon grease, gives it a little bit nicer flavor. But that's it. There's nothing else. The majority of the work is browning the meat. Once this is done, the small other stuff just goes in the oven for 3 hours, 2 to 4 hours, depending what temp you're using, yeah? So you're done. It only takes a little bit, but browning is essential. So let's go ahead and brown, yep. Let's put it on medium high. And you don't want to use butter. You don't want to use olive oil. You'll burn. You don't want to burn. You can use some bacon fat if you like. That bacon fat's always nice. But what I use, just because it's simple and easy if I can find it, is just vegetable oil. Medium high. And remember, we're going to spoon off. We're going to spoon off the majority of the oil. So generally for a meat dish this size, a whole white onion is fine, but you really want to kind of, you don't want them bulky. You want them more chopped fine. I try to do 1.5. I made this the other day, and 1.5 seemed to be a little bit better for me than 1 whole onion. But as far as cutting these, you know, you're just going to look at this size. Nothing too crazy, and I'm weird about cutting. I'm not some traditionalist who's like, I can do that, but I don't do it. I just, you know, I'm not cooking for 800 people at a restaurant where I've got to get these things out instantaneously. I'm not worried about that. Big carrot, you want to cut. We're going to leave this. We're not going to season the meat. We're not going to season this. Trust me, you don't need to. If you want to put some salt on it, feel free. But you don't need it right now. And you want to brown these. You don't want to cook them. You don't want to cook them through. We're just browning them, all right? But you want to give them time to brown. So on a medium high, you may need to turn it down a little bit. So the wine is cooked down a little bit. Yeah, not much. We're going to keep it on low. Low is fine. Y'all want to see some copper? Come on down, guys. Take a look. Now, this is where I keep the copper for the most part, other than the stuff that's up on the wall over there. But I use all these. I mean, I use everything around here. I use it all. It's important. It's just not for looks. I normally, these are the bigger ones I'm usually using over the holidays, but these others I use all the time. Just want to get them touched on the brown, guys. You don't want them cooking through. I don't want them drying out. But you want to get all sides. Doesn't take very long. It'll take about 10 minutes-ish to get all the sides brown the way you need to, and then reserve it on the side. As you can see, you're just getting a little browning. The second batch is in there, but you're not overpowering it. You just want to get some good color. All right, so here's the important thing so far. Your stock is ready. Yep. Your wine is heated and ready. You've cooked off some of the alcohol. So as soon as this is done and we screen off the oil, the onions and the carrots go in. Don't add the garlic in yet. Don't want to do that. That'll be a problem. Oh, and by the way, what you want to do are potatoes in cold water. We're going to do a butter parsley sauce with these. These would be nice. So, forgot to turn them on. Wrong one. All right, get that thing to boil. All right, so come see the oil. Now there's a bunch in here, so just to kind of give you an idea. There you go. We're going to move the oil to the side. There's not a whole lot this time. That's good. Let's turn this back up. There we go, to a medium high. That's nice and hot. Let's go ahead and do this. Let us dump in my onions. You want to brown these well. Yeah. Come on. Don't put the garlic in yet. No seasoning. Just this. And if you think you need some more oil, you've got some over here. You've already got it. So that's good. This takes about 5 minutes on medium-high heat. All right, so I've got the onions where I want them with the carrots. Let's go ahead and grab the meat. Yeah. Put the whole thing in. Very nice. All right, so I turned the range off, but the oven is on 450. I'm going to show you what we're going to do real quick. We're going to brown some flour. It's going to give us the thickening we need for this process. So I want you to see how much meat you have and be liberal with just regular all-purpose flour, yeah? Just going to sprinkle it over the top. If you don't think you have enough, add a little bit more, yeah? A little bit more. In the oven, 5 minutes at 450 to 500. Don't worry, you're not going to burn this. All right, good. Get in, don't get in there. Turn on the convection if you want. So this is an essential part of the process. Different recipes call for this being done differently. This one is just like I showed you. You add some flour to the done process of the meat and the vegetables being done. You put it in the oven and you toast it. You can do that. Or you can add flour to some of this gravy, the veal stock, blend it up and then put it in. Either's fine, but toasting is nice. So as soon as this browns, 5 minutes or so, ish, pull it out and we're gonna add the veal stock and the wine in. So, and I've cooked the wine down, it looks like it's about half, maybe a bit more than I wanted to. So I'm probably gonna add some more wine is what I'm gonna do. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Let me crank this up to high. And I'm gonna add some substitute wine in. I cooked a bit more than I needed. Good thing of having extra stuff around. I do have another bottle we could add, but I don't think we're gonna do that. It's just not fair. So if anybody's interested in some of the top end Burgundies, this is a buddy of mine, hopefully he's not still mad at me. It's Louis Michel's Comte Leger Bel Air, La Romane. This is the 13. Cost are about 5K, give or take. And again, do not use a fabulously crazy price bottle of wine. This is an inexpensive Jadot. It's a Beaujolais. I just need to crank this up and get some hot temps on it. Get it to a boil again. Because I took off a little bit too much of the wine. That's all right. This is probably a $13, $14 bottle. So we're gonna bring this to a boil real fast. So, been in here about 6-7 minutes. Go ahead and pull it out. But now we want to turn the oven down to 350. Turn off convection, we won't need it, it's gonna be covered. And now what we want to do is, just want to stir it up a bit. Yeah, just gonna stir it, spin it around. And the general rule is to keep the liquid just above the meats. You can see it's just at the top. If you want to add a little bit more in there, you can, and I'll tell you what we'll do, because I've used all my veal stock, but I do have some beef stock in this bone broth, this beef broth, but that's all right. It's a beef bone broth is what it is. I just sprayed everybody. There we are. This goes in the oven. I'm putting it at 350. I'm gonna cook it for 3 hours. Put the cover on and come back in 3 hours. All right, so about 20 minutes before the boeuf is done, and the time is what it is, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever you got the temp at. Mine should be about 3 hours. So about 20 minutes from where this is finished. You want to prep the onions, the little small pearl onions, and you want to get the mushrooms ready. So that's what we're going to do right now, but it takes a little bit of time. So let's do this real quick. Yep. Sorry, we're going to butcher this. I don't need this much at all, period. But make big choppy cuts. Thin bacon's never good. Put this in here. And we're going to brown this. We want the oil. Yeah, we want the oil. So we're going to put it on medium to medium high. We're going to brown this up. Let's talk about the onions real quick. Yep. So, 2 different types. Let me grab these. 1 and 2. Historically, I use these. They're already done. They're already there. This makes it real easy. Otherwise, you've got to get this. You do these, and I don't know how these will turn out. I'm tempted to try them just to see how they turn out. Just to see if they work okay. So these onions are already done. These are pearl white onions. Say they're already done. They're soft. They're not like fresh onions like this one right here, which is firmer. So, but you do want to brown these. You want to get them caramelized is what you want to do. I just want to get them caramelized. It won't take too long. It takes about 15 minutes or so, maybe 20. It just depends. Once you get that water evaporated, then you're in better shape. And chop, because Mr. Christian forgot to put in the garlic and the bay leaf. And I don't have a bay leaf tree here. It smells nice. I'll do 1. I don't want to do 2. All right, let's see if we can do this. Come on. Lost a piece. All right, the bacon is done. So what we want to do is spoon off the bacon. Yep. Such a delightful thing to have. Bacon. Let's see how much oil is in there. Let's just check, because if it's too much, I don't want to use it all. You see, that's a lot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spoon off a little. Yep. I'll tell you I'm going to do it too. I'm just going to spoon it off this way. That's fine. That's fine. Now get whatever mushrooms you like, guys. I got whole baby bellas. They're brown. And if you don't want to cut these off, that's fine. I did not this time. What will likely happen is these things suck up everything. I normally finish mine off in the oven at like 400 degrees for about 10 minutes, and they come out perfectly. But as you can see, they've already sucked up all that oil that was there. Ah, really? Give me some butter. There, butter. Give me some more butter. A little bit of port. I usually use this on my onions, but a little bit of port and a little bit of wine. Help the process along. Give it some nice flavors. You're going to burn all that alcohol off. There we go. Now I'm getting the stuff off the bottom. All right, so there's that. That looks good. So what we will do, is I've got a cover for this. Turn this off, and I've got these copper plates in the back that I also got from Jim at East Coast Tinning, so I can diffuse everything. And what I'll do is put it on medium high, transfer over, and we're going to cover it with something. Getting there, guys, almost. So what I'm doing now is I've got the potatoes. They've been on the stove for about 40 minutes. These are just like the Yukon Gold, but get whatever you want. Yep. So we're gonna do this real quick right here. I know you think it's a lot of butter, but it's not. Trust me. These are French people. They're like, we want butter. I'm like, fine, I'll get you butter. Let us chop some parsley real quick, real fast, real quick. Yes. A little bit of salt. You're gonna need a little bit of salt. Sorry, you're going to need it. Not that much. So, but that's all right. Yummy. So, these are the results of the Boeuf. Yeah. Come on. And this is Boeuf Bourguignon. The aromas are quite fabulous. Now, you see, I added some mushrooms after the fact and the pearl onions.